12 o'clock noon. Today is Wednesday, July 8th, 2020, and this is the Partners in Prevention Steering Committee meeting. Holly, do you think we should give it another minute or so, or do we think most people are on?
I think probably most people, I think everyone is now here.
Okay. Okay, well, I have, it's still 12, so we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order at 12 p.m. I'll do a roll call of the current steering committee members. I'm Chesley Knowles. I'm here. Lois Collins.
I'm here.
Okay. And then we would like to welcome the newly appointed steering committee members. And when I call your name, if you'll say here. Clint Holmes.
I'm here.
Carol Greenwald.
I'm here.
Shalonda Adams.
Here.
Nicole Janner.
I'm here.
Okay. Sounds like we're all here. And I do believe we have a quorum. So welcome to the new members. You should have a copy of the minutes from the last meeting from May 20th of this year. And if you'll take a minute to look at those minutes, and if anyone wants to move to approve.
Chelsea, this is
Yes.
Lois. Matthew Prosser's name is misspelled on the bottom of the second page.
Bottom of the second page. Okay. Okay.
Lois, this is Holly. I'd like to make that correction. I'm not seeing what you're referring to, though. I'm sorry.
It says Matthew Processor. It's like a typo.
Yeah, I'm only seeing page 1 of 1.
Me as well.
Oh, well, I guess, never mind. It's the way my screen's looking at. At the bottom, where it says members who will be rotating off,
Oh, yes. Thank you.
it says processor.
We'll make
I
that.
didn't the right view, and it was showing it as 2 pages on my screen. I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
Lois.
Okay. And so, Holly, you said you would make that correction?
I will.
Okay. Any other comments on the minutes? Holly, if we make a correction to it, can we still approve, or do we have to wait?
No, I think you can go ahead and approve, noting that correction will be made.
Okay. So would anyone like to make a motion to approve the minutes?
I will.
Okay. Is that Lois?
Yes.
Okay. Any second?
I can. This is Carol.
Okay. All in favor of approving the minutes from the May 20th, 2020 meeting? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so the minutes have been approved. And then we'll look at the financial report from October 2019 through May of 2020. And if there's any comments.
let me just make a note that you'll see that there are no expenditures for the Mentoring Plus grant for the third quarter. You'll recall that grant ended for us in March, so that's why there's no expenditures.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Okay, would anyone like to make a motion to approve the expenditure report?
I will. This is Clint. I move that we accept and approve the expenditure report.
Okay, any second?
I'll second.
Okay, Lois? Okay. All in favor of approving the expenditure report, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the expenditure report's been approved. So we'll move on to staff reports. Coalition for Drug-Free Youth.
Yeah, so I'd like to say who's in the room with us from our Partners in Prevention staff. Whitney Pearson, she's about to give this report. Bonnie Hull with our mentoring program. Adora Hall with our mentoring program. Lyndell McAllister with the mentoring program and Bridges Out of Poverty. And Taylor Thornton with Unity and Diversity.
Okay.
Well, good morning. This is Whitney, and I just want to give a brief update about the coalition and some things that we've been discussing while COVID-19 has been happening. So if you go to the next slide. Okay, so this is a picture of some of our youth at a booth that we did last year for a Jeopardy game with drug prevention. And lately, we have been brainstorming ways that we can further involve youth in our practices for the upcoming school year. And some things that our members discussed at the last June meeting were why we needed youth involvement. And we started talking about how student input and ideas is so important with drug prevention, especially when it focuses on youth drug prevention. And the changing trends, I believe it was Shalonda, who's also a part of SIDFI, that brought up that her son, she had talked to him about a presentation she set in on, and he was like, Mom, that's been going on. So it's like, acknowledging that we as adults can stay up to date as far as we can with trends, but kids always know the latest things that are happening. So making that a point to stay up to date on those. And then I think Holly was the one that said people support what they help create. And I think that's such a powerful quote because our kids are going to support what they help and what they're involved in. So that was a huge 3 points that we discussed. And then as far as maintaining youth involvement, SIDFI is heavily always trying to involve our youth, and not just, for that school year, but how can we as a coalition keep our seniors involved to, beyond going into college, and our juniors, coming up, and junior high and all of that. So we talked about giving our kids action items, like things that they can be involved in. Maybe that's setting up a booth at a community event, or coming up with their own idea that they could possibly do in their school, whatever that may be, that it's their event that they can come up with. And then empowering them and letting them lead out as youth is so important, because if we're not empowering them for the change, then they're not going to want to be a part of that, and they don't think that our ideas are necessarily the hip, cool things always to do. So letting them own that. And then relationships, which is what I want to talk about real quickly in this next slide. Richard, you can go ahead and switch. So we, as Partners in Prevention, have an Instagram page, and you'll see our account up there, Longview PIP. I do encourage you and others to follow this page, because we are doing a new social media campaign with the coalition that is trying to encourage youth involvement, and it's called Did You Know? And so we're going to be posting these, I'm thinking weekly, if we can keep up with this, just so our kids can start to share these out. And I think that relationship point is so important, because if we don't have youth in the relationship with them, they're not going to feel free to want to share these things out. So that's what we're trying to develop with them right now. So you can see just some positive things about youth are the future, and, you know, highlighting that you are the future as our kids, just that they're drug-free, you know, promoting that message. And then if you'll go to the next one. These are going to be slides talking about, did you know that when you're in the Coalition for Drug-Free Youth, we do recommendation letters for our kids for college applications, scholarships, job applications, all of that. You also get volunteer hours for doing booths. There's just all these things that I don't believe our youth know when they're part of the coalition coming into it that can benefit them. So we're really trying to highlight that with this campaign. And then if you'll go, I think it's the last slide. Yes. Okay. So last month, our Dropbox, just a little bit of an update on that. We collected 119.6 pounds within a month. Period. So that is a lot of our prescription drugs when you think about the poundage that creates with those tiny pills. So that is still going very successful. I just want to highlight that if you do have unused medicine, to drop that off at our Longview or White Oak Police Department, because we are still up and going with that. So we're excited to keep removing those off the streets and out of the hands of the ones that don't need it. So that is just a little quick update from what we're doing.
So Whitney, this is Carol. As a new member, tell me which school districts we're engaged with this program. This looks exciting.
Right, so we are in touch with Longview ISD, Pine Tree, Spring Hill, and a little bit of Kilgore. We mainly focus in Longview, but we are open to presenting at areas that contact us from outside of our main Longview area. So if Gladewater was to ask us to do a presentation, we would be more than willing to come and educate or do a booth.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Whitney. Any other questions for Whitney? Okay, we'll move on to mentoring.
So I'm excited to tell you, even in the time of COVID, that you'll probably hear that over and over, but that makes mentoring a challenging opportunity. But we are really, as a team, embracing thinking outside of the box and figuring out how to promote those very important relationships. Here's what we know about our population of kiddos is that they need the mentoring probably more than ever during this time. So we're really strongly encouraging mentors to stay in touch with their mentees by texting and emails and calling, and some have met at outdoor locations and done activities together outside. So this is the slide. Since we could not have our end of the year, usually we have a big end of the year event for the Forever Friends program. We either do a banquet or we do a picnic. This year, that could not happen. So those are in-person events. So we had a parade and had signs made up. You can see there's Kristen Ishiara with her mentee, Priscilla. And we took special gifts to each of our seniors and just rode around. We went to Longview, Kilgore, Pine Tree area. Our Hallsville kiddo was actually in Longview at the time, so we were able to see her within the city. But we did about a 2-hour parade around to see all of our seniors and give them special send-off in their senior year. So that was a really fun event. We have several things happening in the mentoring program right now. And here's Priscilla. So after the parade the next day, Kristen Ishiara, who is her mentor, had her come by her office to start doing her college applications. So we discovered that when we were doing the parade and setting it up, that she could use a little extra support around that. Kristen was on it. So there's Priscilla filling up. Priscilla also volunteers with the library here, and she's a Pine Tree High School graduate. So we're proud of Priscilla. So we've also been working on rebranding our program, and we'll save that information about the brand, but we're very excited about, we will do a renaming of the mentoring program. We've been hearing from our grant funders and other organizations that it's a little dated right now to do separate gender named programs. Ours are called Forever Friends and Co-Pilots. So we have a graphic designer working on new branding and name for our program, which we will be revealing soon. And we're all very excited about that. You're seeing a slide of sunflower seeds and straws and balloons, and so those were all part of packets that were sent out to all of our mentors. About 165 packets were sent out to mentors across Longview. So the districts served by the mentoring program are Longview, Pine Tree, Spring Hill, Hallsville, and Kilgore school districts. I miss anybody? And so these packets were sent with instructions about how to use them. So several of our mentors took the seeds by their mentee's house in a pot and potting soil, and then they planted their seeds and are watching them grow. And I think that's another slide, Richard, so you can go to the next slide. Actually, this is the golf tournament. So when I'll talk about that sunflower seed again. So we have a golf tournament that was scheduled for June, and we have now moved it to October 23rd. We're hopeful that that is able to happen. It will be, as you can see, at Tempest Golf Club, and that's our major fundraiser that we do annually. It's usually in the summertime, but given this year it's not. And so we are working on recruiting sponsors for that golf tournament. If you know of anybody that might be interested in helping to support mentoring, it's a fun time. It's a golf challenge, and we'll have prizes, and it's just always a good time. This is our first year to do it at Tempest Golf Club, so we're excited about that change as well. So what's our next slide, Richard? So Back in Time scavenger hunt, which was scheduled for March of this last year, has been rescheduled now twice. It was supposed to be happening in August, first rescheduled date, and now our Mentoring Advisory Council, which oversees the mentoring program, has voted to go ahead and keep it with the 150 parade that will be happening April 17th. So mark your calendars. That will be a historical scavenger hunt. The theme will be historical. We'll have teams of 4, and there will be prizes, and it's a way of promoting the mentoring program. This will be our first time to ever do a scavenger hunt, and so we're very excited. We hope we actually get to have it. So that's in the works and now planned for April. Next slide. Okay, so a couple of the things I'll just mention to you about things that are happening. We are planning for the fall, and we have a plan A, which is that we would go ahead and meet with our mentees as we have in past years at school districts on site. If that is not possible, then we will probably go to once a month meetings with groups of our kiddos at the park and outdoor locations. So we're working on plan A, plan B, and plan C, but knowing that a lot of our students really need that regular contact, and it's important to stay involved. So we'll continue to sending out the packets to the mentors every 3 weeks with ideas, topics for them to talk about. We've done airplanes, we've sent out video game opportunities that Steve Vance, our other staff member, has worked on. We also are in the process of hiring for Steve's position. He'll be leaving us the end of July to go to work in the schools, and so we are looking for a 20-hour-a-week person to work with our men and boys, and Steve's done a great job with that. We're looking forward to working on that some more. One other issue that I want to mention for the mentoring program is we're also looking at how to better train our mentors around the issue of cultural diversity and racism, and sent out several of the Emmanuel Acho videos. Excuse me if I have slaughtered his name, but uncomfortable conversations with the Black man. He's done done 2 by himself, one with Matthew McConaughey, one with the Gaines family. So I hope you all have had the opportunity to see those. And if you haven't, let us know, and we'll be happy to send out links to those, because they're only about 10 minutes or less, and they're really good and helpful. So we are working on working with training our mentors to do even better in the area of cultural diversity and building solidarity with our Black youth in particular. One other thing with the mentoring program, we also have an arm of the mentoring program called Hope for Youth that started up in 2016 when we were having the very high homicide rates in our city. We were very active during that time to stop youth violence in our city and also to increase opportunities for young people that might not have opportunities to participate in a lot of positive activities. So that group is meeting by Zoom today at 5:30 and are working in committees on interventions with community, families, and schools, thank you, to using the SAVE curriculum, which is Students Against Violence Everywhere, to increase inclusion, decrease exclusion of young people, and just intervening in our community with around the issue of creating more positive opportunities and ways to break down some of the barriers to working together and building a strong community. So that's kind of happening with mentoring. Let me say anything about getting here.
Yeah, sure.
So we also have just ended our Getting Ahead class, which is through our Bridges Out of Poverty initiative. And so we had, I believe, 8 people graduate last night from the class. The class had to take a break. They came back together. We started doing social distancing and wearing masks and individual meals and all of that. And that class graduated. We will be doing Staying Ahead once a month meetings with that group. But we saw some really positive changes with jobs and increasing their resources both personally. One lady was in the homeless shelter 1 month prior to starting Getting Ahead, and she's in stable housing and doing well. So that's been a very positive thing as well. So I invite your questions. Well, I'll mention one other thing. We have a new mentor orientation happening on Friday, July the 16th. No, Thursday, July the 16th, not Friday. And that's from 11:30 to 2. We will have it, we think, in person, because we're usually very small groups of people, about 5 or 6 at a time. And we do serve a meal. And we do have students in need of mentors. We have about 37 boys on the waiting list right now. And I'm not even sure how many girls, but we have a number of students who need mentors at the moment. And we are continuing to match as we can, given the climate that we're in. So any questions?
Where is that held, Lyndell?
It's at the Partners of Prevention Conference Room, Carol, here in the Glover Crim Building downtown.
Thanks.
And Miss Adams, I know you're there. She also she co-facilitates things for Hope for Youth. Anything you want to add, Miss Adams?
No, ma'am. Great job. I'll see you at 5:30.
Okay. For them. So, any other questions about what's happening with mentoring in the time of COVID?
Hey, Lyndell, this is Clint.
Hey, Clint.
You mentioned the videos that about the uncomfortable conversations. I think you said Matthew McConaughey was in one of them.
Yeah. Emmanuel.
I think I did see that. Say it again.
Matthew, H-O, however you say his name, H-O.
Will you send that to me? I'm not gonna say no.
Clint, yes. I've also got a couple of kiddos when you're back, when things are back opened up to talk to you about.
Okay. I'll follow up.
Lyndell, I'd like to get copies of those links as well. So if those could be sent out to all of us that are new, that'd be helpful.
We're happy to do that.
Yes, yeah, we'll send it to the entire group.
All right, thank you. And we will move on to the Unity and Diversity report.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Taylor Thornton, and the UDC has been very interactive virtually these last few months. So we had our June UDC meeting where actually Carol presented on emotional attacks on gender, race, and ethnicity, workplace empowerment, and how to feel valued in the workplace. So as a result of that powerful message, our Unity and Diversity Committee decided that they will propose an initiative to work with the Longview Police Chief, Chief Bishop, and included in this initiative were questions that were asked of the chief. This was via Zoom. And these questions were related to the policies that the PD has implemented and will implement, the events upcoming and previous, community involvement, and ways that the Unity and Diversity Committee could assist. And if you would like to look at that entire video, you can go to longviewtexas.gov/unity to view that. And as a result of this proposed initiative, we will have a police area representative officer on rotating shifts that will attend all of our Unity and Diversity Committee meetings moving forward. And we will also have Sergeant Kendrick Montgomery, which is the Part Officer Supervisor. So if you'd like to take a look at that link, you can visit that website. Yep, there you go. And also for our July UDC meeting that we had coming up recently, we talked about race and culture and what the difference is on how we can bridge the gap for unity. And we also had a very exciting event, which is our first ever virtual 4th of July talent stage. So we had 9 people enter that, and we chose 5 final contestants. The videos were published between 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. on our Longview Unity and Diversity Committee's page. If you'd like to take a look at those videos on Facebook, those are still available, so you can go ahead and check those out at your leisure time. And they received the votes by the community going to our page and liking each of the videos. And the gifts that they were awarded were trophies and cards. And these, of course, were based on the number of highest likes. So our first place winner won at 218 votes, and they received $100 and a trophy, of course. Our second place at 130 votes with $75. Third place, 127 votes with $50. Fourth place with 84 votes. Fifth place with 68 votes. And as a result of this being a virtual event, our page received over 100 likes and over 200 new followers. So that was really good for our diversity page. And collectively, with each of these videos, we reached over 10,000 people. And we also have started a series on our Longview Unity and Diversity Committee's page, which is entitled The Story Behind My Skin. And this is basically a series of anybody is welcome to send in videos to my email address. And this is basically some stories that you have to encounter based on the color of your skin, or maybe some things that you were taught previously or growing up that you grew up and found out this is not true. So any story that you have due to the color of your skin, these videos will be incorporated in the Story Behind My Skin series. So if you'd like to check that video out, that's also on our Facebook page. And we also have upcoming events. So our first upcoming event will be happening on August the 3rd, and that's our monthly UDC meetings. We meet every first Monday at noon. And this will happen August the 3rd at noon. And the meeting ID is published on this flyer if you'd like to take that down. And if you'd like to join our UDC list, feel free to email me and let me know, and I can always add you to that list so that you can get updated information. And at this meeting, we're going to be talking about how we can grow in the community and how we can be visible with pertaining to racial reconciliation, unity and diversity, and how we can grow in the area of unity for the city of Longview. So this is going to be very interactive. We're going to be using some Zoom features that I'm very excited about. So if you would like to join us for that meeting, it's open to the public. And our Longview Listen session that was scheduled for August the 3rd has been postponed to a later date to be announced. However, our awesome speaker, Terry Reese, he will conduct a short video next Thursday at 10 a.m. with our host, Whitney Pierce. She's in the room also. And they're going to be talking about how we can kind of figure out what are some tips and things that we need to do based on the racial climate that's going on right now. So if you'd like to join us on Facebook Live next Thursday at 10 a.m., we would love to have you for that.
All right. Thank you, Taylor. Any questions for Taylor? All righty. Well, we will move on to the program manager report.
Okay, thank you. I just have a short report today, and I'll just things to share with you. Not much of a funding update for this month. We're still waiting to hear about some funding opportunities that we have applications out for. One of those being our local United Way. So we hope to hear from that soon. Some others being considered. Also, a new opportunity that we've had through the Bureau of Justice Assistance, the federal organization. The city of Longview was awarded some emergency funding for the coronavirus pandemic that's here to help offset some of the costs, mostly through the police department and emergency first responders. Because of our experience with BJA through Partners in Prevention with our JAG grants, our Justice Assistance grants, we were able to help write that application, and we'll receive a small portion of funding to help with the administrative costs. So that will that's a nice, unfortunately, a bad situation, but nice for us in that will offset some of our budget for this year and next year. Lyndell has mentioned the Getting Ahead and Staying Ahead class. We did wrap that up with our graduation last night. I'll just say that, you know, we can tell stories about that all day, but to be in the presence of people who are really striving to do things differently in their life and get to a better place. There was one lady there, she brought her husband last night and was just telling what great support she felt from the group each and every week. And so when we reminded her that we would still have our Staying Ahead groups monthly, you know, she was glad about that, but she said, yes, but that's not every week. And so just the impact and the support that program's making in individual lives, I think is something to be recognized. Just some general information. I shared with you at our last meeting that Erica Buchanan had resigned from Partners in Prevention as of June the 26th, and she's going on to a new marriage and new opportunities and a new move. And so we were sad to see her go, but very happy for her new life that she's embarking on. We have found a new administrative assistant. Her name is Jordan Forbes. She'll begin this next Monday, July the 13th. So as you are, we send out notices and information to you, just kind of be watching for Jordan's email address to come up and know that that's someone that's new here with Partners in Prevention. Whitney had mentioned earlier, as has Taylor, about our social media and our Facebook. I always like to remind our committee members, and especially our new ones, if you have not, if you have social media and you have not gone on and liked our Partners in Prevention, Longview PIP is our tag for Instagram, Twitter, and for our Facebook. And then some of the individual programs have their own Facebook presence as well, the Coalition of Youth, Unity and Diversity Committee, and mentoring also. So if you would like to join any of those, we do have one for Bridges Out of Poverty as well. So just let me know if you have any trouble locating those. I'm happy to help with that, but we would like to ask for you to take note of that and share things as we post them to help spread the word about our programs. The only other update that I have, Lyndell mentioned about the name change for mentoring. We are in the process of that and looking at some things for a fresher look. And so be watching for those things to come your way as well via email. The next meeting that we have, September the 9th, I can't say at this time if we'll be able to meet in person or if it will be via teleconference again, but we will let you know that as that date draws closer. Any questions from the committee? Okay. Chesley, I'll turn it back to you. I think that completes our staff reports.
Okay. Do we have any citizen comment?
This is Richard Yakeley. No one is registered to participate in citizen comment at this time.
All right, thank you. Well, if there are no other final questions or comments, I'd like to thank the staff for their reports and welcome again the new members. And it sounds like our next meeting will be September 9th. And so we will go ahead and adjourn at 12:36.